What do I wish people knew about being a doula? Being a doula matters, and the work that a doula does matters. It is hard work to be a doula on the birth side and the postpartum side, and it is heart work serving families. We are with them in their most intimate time, in the most intimate space, and the work we do matters. And when a doula is present, things will be better. And when a doula is not present, things won't be as good as they could be. Hi, my name is Tanya Carpenter, and I am the CEO and founder of the Community Doulas of Waco. The problem that we were facing here and that we continue to face here in McLennan County that makes Community Doulas of Waco a necessary organization is that our moms, especially those that are in lower income brackets, do not have very good support during childbirth and in the early weeks of the postpartum period. And those are the times when a woman needs some of the most support around childbirth, and doulas fill that role. But it's very expensive to become a doula and very expensive to have a doula. And so Community Doulas of Waco bridges that gap and changes the narrative around the expense associated with doula services and becoming a doula.
My name is Jacqueline Weaver, and I had a birthing doula with Community Doulas of Waco.
That's great. That's great.
I was hearing about social media and looking for doulas in Waco, and specifically who had mostly African American staff. And the trend, I guess you can say, of having a doula, and being that this was probably going to be my first and only child, I just did some digging and found out about community doulas. When I finally got through, she's like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And I was like, well, they're inducing me. She's like, okay, well, let's kick it up a notch. She came right in and she was like, okay, tell me when's good to meet. And she just came right in and she answered all my questions I had, any concerns I had, and she would just check in over the phone, make sure that if anything popped up that she was available for me. And I had my son in 2022 when it was time, and I was like, hey, I'm at the hospital. I think it's go time. She's like, I'm on my way. And her having being there and being able to show not only my mom but my mother-in-law different things to do and allowing them to step in and do it, really, it made it so much easier. I wasn't panicked. I was relaxed. She was very encouraging, and she became part of the family. I'm so glad.
It was great.
Okay.
I love it for you.
Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I found Community Doulas of Waco through Baylor Scott and White. When I was giving up and I told her I wanted the epidural, she kept telling me I was doing great, that I didn't need it, so I just needed that reminder to keep going, that I was almost there. And because of her, I got to go through it naturally, and I got to recover much sooner than if I had to take the epidural or go through a C-section. And so I thank her till this day. We don't have any family or friends here in Texas. We don't know nobody, so it felt like a friend, and then she became more like family, and we felt that support through them. If there was one thing I could say about Community Doulas of Waco, I would say this is an amazing program. I feel very privileged that I was able to have a doula.
In the beginning, whenever I first got pregnant, I was looking basically for any resources that could help me, because I knew I was also 17, so I was a teen parent, and so I was just really looking for resources that could help me. I got connected with Community Doulas of Waco, and they kind of explained what a doula is. I was like, okay, this sounds like it could be helpful, whatever. And so my birth doula came, she started educating. We did these classes, and I was learning more than I thought there was even possible to learn. Like, I was learning how to push out a baby. I was learning how to talk to medical staff, and like, these are things that nobody really tells you. And so I got connected with her, and then we went through our education process. She attended my birth, and prenatally I also was in touch with my postpartum doula. My postpartum doula educated me on also things I'd never even imagined, like how to keep your relationship intact postpartum, because that can be really crazy. How to, like, the physical changes that you go through postpartum and the way that your brain really changes. And so all of this was just super interesting to me to experience it, but also to learn it. And then they supported me through my birth and then through postpartum, and I was just so infatuated with everything I was learning. And I was asking more, like I was asking them through our service, how did you become a doula, or how can I become a doula? And then I got in touch with Tanya, and she set me up on the mentorship program. This is where I had a birth doula guide me through the whole process, from the education part to the actual hands-on learning part, and then also my postpartum doula mentor who guided me through that process as well.
What inspired me to start Community Doulas of Waco was honestly a divine inspiration from God above. I developed the doula program for our local pregnancy crisis center in 2015. And in my work serving the clients, I was often asked by the clients that I was serving was, I wish I could do what you're doing. How can I do what you're doing? And I would say to them, you can do this. But it was always a barrier for them because of the cost associated with training to become a doula. So it was a obstacle that was too high for them to overcome. And I approached the leadership of the pregnancy center asking them, hey, can we start a doula training program per se? But it wasn't part of their mission. And so the director said, well, why don't you start it? But I'm like, I don't have time for that. I have other things happening in my life. Plus I'm running this program here. I don't have time to do something else. But in my prayer time, I felt inspired by God to make space in my life for the demographic of women that we were serving, and to make space for them in my life and make space for them to be able to become doulas. And so therefore that's why I started Community Doulas of Waco, just out of an act of obedience from God.
I like cooking. You do. You're a natural.